Hi everyone, welcome to Suresh Techs. If you are visiting our channel for the first time or if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to Suresh Techs. So in our previous tutorial we looked at HTML tables. So to create a table we use an element called table, and to create a row we use an element called tr, and to create a table data we use an element called td, and similarly to provide table headings we use an element called th, which stands for table heading. And in this tutorial we will look at HTML lists. HTML list. So there are mainly two types of lists. One is unordered list, and one more thing, one is unordered list and another one is ordered list. So there is one more type of list called description list, which I am going to talk about. I am going to talk about that at the end of this tutorial. Now let me create a project. Okay, so this is our previous project called tables. So we worked on the tables in our previous tutorial, and now we are going to work on HTML lists. So I am going to create a new project with an element HTML, and inside that I am going to give another element called body, which is our displayable area. Now I am going to save it as lists.html and the save as type to HTML, and I am going to keep an header list. Okay, now if you save this and refresh, okay, I am just trying to, okay, let me open it from here itself. Lists, right? Okay, I have lists and I'm going to open it with Google Chrome. Now this is how it looks like. Now let me provide some lists. As I said earlier, there are two types of lists. So one is unordered list and another one is ordered list. So to provide an unordered list, so basically unordered list means it will not have a particular order. That means it will not have 1, 2, 3. So there will be no sequences. So it's an unordered list. Now to provide an unordered list, so you have to use an element called ul. So ul here stands for unordered list. So now I am going to close this. Okay, so now inside this you have to provide the list items. Okay, so to provide a list item you have to say li. Okay, and if you close this is fine. Now if you say Suresh, okay, now I am going to provide few more elements inside this unordered list. I am going to provide, let me provide Naresh, let me provide Harish. Okay, now if I'm going to refresh it, okay, so look at here. So this is an unordered list. So that means there is no order for this list. So there is no 1, 2, 3, right? There is no sequence order. So this is an unordered list. Now here if you look at unordered list, by default it is displaying in disk. The type whatever you have before this is of type disk. Okay, so if you want to change that to some other type, okay, so you have a property on your unordered list, so which is called list style, which is called list style type. Okay, so when you specify list style type, okay, so this is a CSS property, right? So if it is a CSS property you have to use a style attribute, and inside that you should say list style type, and you have to provide the different types. So by default it will be in disk shape. If you want to provide circle, okay, you could use circle. Look at now, so if you look closely you will understand. See, it's changed to circle. And similarly we have something called a square. Okay, square. So if you change it to square, this is how it looks like. So there are total 3 values. First one is disk, and first one is disk, and the second one is circle, and the third one is square. And if you don't want anything, so then you could say none, then nothing will be displayed in front of your list items. Okay, so this is how you work with unordered list. So this is an unordered list. So now I'll try to keep square so that it looks little beautiful here. It looks beautiful here. Now let me create an ordered list. So what do I mean by an ordered list? Ordered list means, ordered list stands for OL. Okay, now ordered list means there will be an order for the list items whatever you will keep. So to create a list item inside an ordered list you have to specify li. Now you just provide some other things. Now say Naresh, now say Harish. Okay, now if you refresh it, look at this. So this is an ordered list, right? This is an ordered list because we have an order here. It started from 1 2 3. Okay, now even here if you want to change the type, right? So this is an ordered list. So here if you want to change, the type, for example, it is displaying 1 2 3. Instead, if you want ABCD, how do you do that? So there is a attribute for the ordered list itself. So instead of providing a style attribute, there is an attribute for the ordered list itself, is called type. So if you specify type, here you can pass different values. So the first one is alphabet A. So if you specify alphabet A, okay, so it's going to be displayed with capital alphabet numbers. So here if you specify alphabet B, what will happen? See, nothing will work. So you should definitely specify alphabet A. Whenever you specify capital alphabet, it has to be, whenever you specify capital A, it will display in all the capital letters. It starts from capital A. Instead, if you want a small letter, then you should specify type to small a. Then it will display the ordered list to be A, B, C in small letters. Now, if you want some Roman numbers, if you want uppercase Roman numbers, you have to specify capital I. Okay, so this is how it will be displayed, 1 2 3 in Roman numbers. Instead, if you want Roman numbers to be small, lowercase Roman numbers, right? Lowercase Roman numbers, then you should specify the type as small I. So when you specify the type as small I, it is going to display smaller lower Roman numbers. So if you don't specify anything, it will display as 1 2 3 4, right? This is how it works. And to specify and to externally specify, then you should specify type as 1. When you specify type as 1, it is going to display 1 2 3. So this is how you will work with HTML ordered list and HTML unordered list. So as I said earlier, there is one more type of list apart from ordered list and unordered list. There is one more type of list which is called description list. So description list is, for example, so the use of description list is the use of description list is, you will have an item and you will have a corresponding description for that item. For example, if I say Sachin, and the description for Sachin is, he's a great cricket player, he's the god of the cricket, right? Something like that you can specify. So that's about the description list. So to provide a description list, you should use an element called DL. So DL stands for description list, and you should close the description list. And inside this description list, again you have to specify description terms to provide a description term. So here the description term is Sachin, because I am going to describe Sachin, so that's called the term. Okay, so I am going to close this. And to specify the description about that term, to provide the description about that term, you have to specify something called DD. DD here stands for description. Okay, so he is, okay, Sachin, let's say god of the cricket. Okay, now if you look at here, this is how it looks like. See, so this is the term and this is the corresponding description for this. So this is called the description lists. So now you could specify some other. Okay, I'll say Ganguly. So Ganguly is our Dada, or I could say great captain. Okay, something like that you can specify. So this is how it looks like. So these are called, so this is called description lists. Okay, so today we looked at different types of lists. So one is ordered list, unordered list, and one more thing is description list. Now these lists can be nested, so that means you can keep an unordered list inside an ordered list, or you can keep an ordered list inside an unordered list. Anything is possible. So which means HTML lists can be nested. For example, let me have, okay, so for example let me have an ordered list. Okay, inside, so I'm going to close this. So inside the ordered list, I'll have list items. Okay, I'm going to close, and I'm going to close this list item here. So I have a list item, so that means by default it will be displayed as 1, starts from 1. I'll say Suresh. Okay, then let me keep another list inside this. I'll say Harish. So 2. Okay, now inside this I'll keep an unordered list. Okay, I'm going to keep unordered list. So here I'll have something I can keep. I'll say 1, I'll say 2, I will say 3. Okay, so now what happened, it starts from an ordered list. So 1 followed by Suresh, 2 followed by Harish, and then I'm starting an unordered list. So that means I am keeping an unordered list inside an ordered list. That means here I am nesting the HTML lists. Okay, so now let me refresh it. Look at this. This is how it looks like. So it starts from Suresh because that's an ordered list. So inside this Harish, okay, under this Harish, you have something called an unordered list. Okay, so which displays just below Harish. So this is how you should work with HTML lists. So there are 3 types of lists which are called unordered list, ordered list, and description list. Okay, so let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so this is about unordered list and ordered list. So this is our unordered list. To provide an unordered list, you should have UL tag. Okay, so these are the different options available for an unordered list. You should have a CSS property called list style type. If you specify disk, it will display in disk, and similarly we do have few other called circle and square. And to create an ordered list, you should have an element called OL, and it accepts an attribute called type on the ordered list itself. So it's not a separate CSS property, but it's an attribute provided from the ordered list. Okay, you should have a type as 1, which says the lists to be numbered from 1 to 3 4, and similarly you have type A. So when you specify A, it will start from alphabetical uppercase, and similarly alphabetical lowercase, and similarly Roman numbers in uppercase and lowercase. And similarly we looked at description lists and then nested list. And finally we have something called controlling the list counting. Now if you look at here, okay, now let's go back to our ordered list. Okay, so this is our ordered list, right? So when you look at here, when you say type to 1, right? So when you say type to 1, what happens, it will, so it starts from 1, right? Now if you want this to start from some specific number, so I want it to start from 10. If you want it to start from 10, it accepts another parameter called start. Sorry, so it accepts another attribute called start. Okay, so if you specify 10, so that means it starts from 10. Look at here, it started from 10. So that's how you can control the counting of the lists. So this is what about the controlling the list counting. So you could specify the start value so that it starts from there. Okay, that's all about HTML list. Please do subscribe to Suresh Techs. Thank you so much.